Hello guys, and welcome back to Betterment Crypto. So in today's video, we're just going to be going over how to trade on KuCoin for beginners. So if you're a beginner and you've never used KuCoin, or you're familiar with crypto, or you're unfamiliar with crypto, this is just how to start trading on KuCoin for people who've never used KuCoin before. So basically, before we start with that, what KuCoin is essentially it's just a centralized exchange where you've got lots of different cryptos that you can trade. Now, some crypto platforms like Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, others, they're somewhat limited in terms of the coins that they've got and the tokens they've got. Binance has done a pretty good job. They've got over a couple hundred of tokens that you can trade. Coinbase, I think they're around a little over 50, 60, and similar for Kraken. But KuCoin has tons of tokens. I'm guessing probably in the close to 500 maybe. And what you can do, what's great about this is you don't need to go to something like Uniswap or one of these other decentralized exchanges, which are great in their own aspects, but you have to pay insane gas fees. So on this, you've really got very little fees. In fact, it's 0.1% fee per trade, which is very competitive. So there are some benefits and drawbacks to KuCoin, but me personally, it's the main exchange I use, that and Kraken. So without further ado, let's get Kraken and go right into KuCoin. So what you want to do is first go to kucoin.com. That's the URL. And once you're there, you're going to be greeted with this screen. So if you're a new user completely, what you're going to want to do is sign up. Just this button right here. And here you'll be greeted with, you can either choose phone or email, and this is just a way to sign up. A good thing about KuCoin is they're pretty lenient in terms of their KYC compared to other centralized exchanges. Like for example, Binance, you're really going to have a hard time using it if you don't have KYC. Kraken, Coinbase, those even more. But this one, it really doesn't prompt you for KYC that much. Now, if you get into things like depositing fiat currency or trying to use margin trade, then I do believe that's when KYC comes in. If you also want to increase your withdrawals and deposits, then that's when KYC comes in. But me, myself, I don't have KYC registered, and it's just great because all they have on you is your phone, if you choose your phone, or your email. So me personally, I've used my email to log in. I already have an account, but this part really doesn't matter. So what you're going to do is just choose phone or email, whichever one works better for you. And then what you're going to do is if you have a phone, you'll type in your phone number. So let's say this, and then I'd hit send code. I'm not going to do that because I have an account. Then once you do that, you'll get a quick verification code just as a text message on your phone. It should be a 6-digit verification code or something along those lines. And what you're just going to do is just type that in that number that you got on text. So let's say it's something like that. After that, you just type in your login password. So you can set that as whatever you'd like. And after that, you can type in a referral code. You don't really need a referral code. It's just something that gives you a kickback, or your friends a kickback rather, whoever gets the referral code. But that's definitely not necessary. And for the email, same thing. You would just type in your email and then hit send code. Then shortly after, you'll get a verification code on your email, 6 digits. You type that in. Then you type in the password you want. And same thing, referral code. Now make sure you check this box. You all know the terms of use, but that's just something you have to check before you sign up. And after that's really it. Once you've hit that, there's no wait 5 days, no get your passport and photo. That's it. So you've already got it. If you already have an account, you can just hit this login button, or actually I'll go back to this home screen. Just here on kucoin.com, you can hit this login button right up here. So this is if you already have an account like I do. And what you're just going to do is type in your email and your password, and that's it. It's this sub account here. That's just a number that it gives you, but my email is just the one that I have. Then I'll hit login, verify I'm not a robot. Let's see if I can pass this. All right, and we're in. So once you're here, you might be wondering, how am I going to get funds in KuCoin? And that's a good question. So I talked about its strengths and weaknesses. One of KuCoin's weaknesses is when you're trying to deposit money, and I'm talking fiat money, not any crypto. There isn't a way to deposit dollars without a fee. You can see here the only way to do it is with a bank card, and it's going to charge you 1.8%, which really is not that great, especially if you're doing large amounts. Like think about how it is to gain 1.8%, and essentially you've just lost that by putting your money on. So yeah, you really don't want to be paying this 1.8% fee. Um, and as you may know, lots of other centralized exchanges have options where it's literally no fees. You can have ACH bank transfers or something along those lines. But with this, if you're depositing fiat currency, there is going to be that fee. And unless they change that, you're going to be stuck with that. On top of that, you're going to have to supply your KYC. It says document information. That's just KYC. So that's going to be things like passports, any identification, and that's going to be a process. I can't vouch for this or testify because I don't have KYC on my account. So I don't know the process of that. I can vouch for other things that I do have KYC on. But this one I don't know. And frankly, I don't think it's recommended, or rather, you don't need it if you're using KuCoin. So what I use KuCoin for is when I'm depositing my funds, I don't use fiat currency. I actually use cryptocurrency. And that is no fees. You've obviously got the gas fees on the other end, whatever that will be. But even so, you could use something like TRX, or the gas fee is like less than a penny. I usually just use Tether just because it's simple, and like pretty much all of their trading pairs are Tether based here on KuCoin. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, pretty much like if you get the idea, you can go on to another centralized exchange that you do have KYC for, which is what I'd recommend because you're not going to have to pay that 1.8% fee. You go into there, trade by Tether with it, or you could buy something else. You could buy Bitcoin, or they support tons of currencies, you can see. And then from there, you would just send that to your address. So you're wondering, how am I supposed to send that to the address? If you're sending Tether, which is what I recommend, it's pretty much pegged to the dollar. So in my opinion, it's just easier because in my mind, it's just like dollars, but in crypto. The thing that you're going to want to do is if your exchange supports it, you're not going to want to do ERC20 just because right now, I know ETH 2.0 hasn't released, but things are getting really expensive. It could cost upwards of $100 just to send this. Now, that might be an extreme example, but it is going to cost you a lot of money. And if you're someone who's sending just a couple $100, it's really not going to make sense for that to be like 25-50% of the fee just by sending it here. So you're thinking, oh, what's the option? They've actually got these great options here. The one I'd recommend, it's very popular, and it's probably the most likely to be on your centralized exchange or the way that you're sending your Tether across. That's TRC20. So it's similar to ERC20, right? Except it's on the Tron network, which the fees are insanely low on the Tron network. Even with centralized exchanges, when you're withdrawing it, I think the most I've seen is $1. So, if you got $200, you're probably not going to mind paying $1 just to send that over. And even, that's $1. It's not percentage or anything. So if you're sending 100 million bucks, they're only going to charge you $1 still. So that's what I'd recommend. Whichever other exchange or wallet you have your Tether in, you're just going to copy this Tether address. And you can do that by highlighting it and copying it, or just by hitting this button. This should also show a QR code, and that QR code is just the address. So if you're scanning it with your phone or something, and pretty much that's it. Once you do that, it should deposit right in there. Another benefit of TRC20 is that it's a lot quicker than ERC20. So this, I don't know, it depending on the amount of time and the situation, the congestion, I've seen it take upwards of 40-45 minutes. With this, it's probably not going to take longer than 5 minutes. And the majority of that is just KuCoin having to verify it with the blocks going on and on. Anyway, that is how you deposit money into your KuCoin account. I would very much recommend doing cryptocurrency and not fiat currency just because of that fee and the fact that you're going to have to register KYC with it if you do fiat currency. But if that's your thing and that's what you're choosing to do, then, they've got the option for that and you can go right on ahead and do that. So moving on, now you know how to get funds. And let's say you've deposited it. You're going to be depositing your crypto, right? Assuming you've deposited crypto, what's going to happen, and this may be confusing. So this is a part where some of you should pay attention if you're new to it, because lots of centralized exchanges don't have this. it's going to end up right here in your main account. And you may be thinking, okay, that's fine. But you can see, like, if I try to trade this with something in my main account, it's not going to let me trade. And it can be a little scary if you don't know what's going on. You're going to be, oh, where are my funds? Have they gone? No. What you have to do, it's this somewhat tedious, just little annoying step. You have to transfer your funds from your main account to your trading account. It's very easy and fast to do, but it's just something that you're going to have to keep in mind. So if you ever have something where it says zero balance or funds insufficient, that's what you're going to want to do. And we'll just use my 35 cents of Litecoin here as an example. You're just going to hit transfer on whatever currency you're wanting to transfer. And this isn't going to have any fees or anything. It's literally just moving it from one tab to another. You're going to hit main account to trading account if that's what you want to do. If you want to switch the other way, you're going to hit that. And then you'll hit available amount right here. I'll just click all of it. Or if you want to type in a custom amount, say I only wanted that, I can just hit confirm. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to hit all of it, the available amount, confirm. And just like that, now the Litecoin's gone from my main account and it's in my trading account. Now, you may be asking, what are the differences between the trading account and the main account? Is there one reason I should keep it in the main account, one I should keep it in the trading? The simple answer is there's really not that much difference. Your trading account, the funds have to be in there if you're doing trades. So if for some reason you've got Bitcoin and you're like, I don't want to trade this, I don't want to somehow make an accident and do that, you can put that in your main account. But the main thing is lots of people are just going to forget that their funds are in their main account. You have to do that simple step. So again, it's main account, transfer, amount available or available amount, and confirm. And just while I'm on this subject, you are going to have to transfer it back to your main account when you do things like withdrawing your crypto. So that's going to be an instance where you're going to have to do that. So just as an example, let's say I want to withdraw my Bitcoin, not sell it, but withdraw it. I would hit transfer, main account, all of it, confirm, and now it's in the main account. And again, no fees with that or anything. That's just the way they have it set up. Now I'm not actually going to withdraw my Bitcoin, so I'm just going to put it back where it was. So now you understand how to move funds from your main account to your trading account. So assuming you've done that, you've got your Tether, you've deposited it, it ended up in your main account, now you've put it in your trading account. Now you're thinking, all right, what do I want to do? You're going to want to trade it, right? So the thing that you want to do when you're trying to trade is it's a little bit counterintuitive. The easiest way to do it is hit markets, not trade. There are different things. The simplest way is just hit markets. And in this way, you can see like pretty much all of the pairs. And there's a ton on KuCoin. So what you're going to want to do is, let's say I've got Tether and I want to exchange it for Cardano. So I'll just search ADA because that's the ticker, right? And then I'll just click on this. You'll notice here it says KuCoin Plus, and you'll see this thing that says 10x. That can be super confusing. You might be thinking, oh, I don't want to leverage my money. I don't want to do 10x. I don't want to subscribe to KuCoin Plus or whatever it is. It's somewhat of a poor design decision, in my opinion. All this is you're just trading ADA for Tether and Tether for ADA normally. You're not doing 10x and you're not doing KuCoin Plus. All this means is that, honestly, the KuCoin Plus, I don't really understand what it means. I think it's something with a membership. The 10x, what that means is that you are allowed to leverage up to 10x. But normally, that's not going to be the option. You're not going to be doing any leverage or margin trading. But they're saying you can leverage up to 10x with this pair. So some people may want that. I don't really recommend margin trading just because it's risky, but that's what that 10x means. It does not mean that you're putting in your money at a leverage. So I don't know if I'll just find an example on the spot, but sometimes you'll be searching for a coin and it's not going to show up. Like, let's see. Yeah, maybe this is it. And I think they do have it. Oh, maybe not. But sometimes you'll be searching for a coin and you'll be hitting all, but you're not going to find it. And the reason is because you actually have to scroll through all of these. So if it's something like stablecoin, sometimes it just isn't there. It's kind of a poor design decision again, But if you're searching for something and you're sure that they have it, or you're just trying to check and it doesn't show up in this main screen, most of them are going to show up on this main USDS stablecoin screen. But if it doesn't, you're just going to want to click, 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 and see if it pops up. And then that should be it. But if it's not there, then unfortunately they don't have it. And this, you're just going to want to have it all if you just wanted to search for those. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Let's say we want to trade ADA for Tether. Do that, click on that. And it's going to give you a 6-digit trading password. If you're new to this, it's pretty easy to set up. I can't show you an example because I already have one set up. But if you already have this set up, you'll just type it in. And once you type it in, it will unlock. And here you can see the candles. I really like the way that they have this set up, just the candles. You can choose the time frame up here. So I'm assuming most of you know what candles are and wicks and all that. But this is just a 30-minute wick. So each of these blocks represents 30 minutes in the trading and the price of ADA and USDT. So what's great about this is if you want a longer term view or a shorter term view, you can just hit any of these. The candles actually go up to a week, which is quite a long time. Each of these candles represent 1 week. So just like that, and we're back in 2020 already. So you can really see a lot. Same thing, you can zoom in and out with your cursor. You're seeing I'm zooming in and out, and you can get a more macro and micro view of that kind of thing. For super, micro traders, this is the 1 minute time frame. So each of these candles represents 1 minute, and that's going to be a very short time frame. Up here, it's pretty much just the same day. So these are just a span of 2 days. Anyway. Once you got those candles figured out, me personally, I like the 30-minute candle just for what I do. I think it's a good balance between longevity but you can experiment around with that. Like if you're wanting to see into 2020, you're gonna want to hit the week candle or maybe even the day candle. If you're gonna want to see maximum, like you just really want to see what happened for the past week or two, 3 minutes might be a good option. 5 minutes might be a good option. But anyway. 30 minutes to an hour is what I usually stick to. If you're wanting to trade, this is where things get a little tricky because they're not tricky, but you should just be aware of it. This is the market price. These are all of the orders that are trying to sell. These are all of the orders trying to buy. And this is the price that the market settles on. So you can see here the lowest seller, I mean the lowest price that the seller is trying to sell at that one moment is this price right here. And the highest price that someone's willing to buy for is this, right? So sellers want to sell high, buyers want to buy low, and it kind of meets in the middle. That's called the market price. What you really want to be careful with, and I'm going to emphasize this, you really want to be careful with this, is if you're buying a lot, if you're putting in a lot of money, if you think, oh, this price is fine, I'm just going to hit market price, I'll go to market, and it says best market price. I say that sounds great, and I'll put in my money and hit buy. That's going to be really bad because what that's going to do is KuCoin isn't smart enough to think, oh, well, you want this price, that's the market price. What it's going to do is it's going to buy instantly. So if you're buying $100,000 worth and you want it at this price, what it's going to do is it's going to buy 100,000 all at once from all of these lists. And this isn't just that price. If you scroll up to $100,000 worth, I guess I can't even, but that's going to be a lot higher than 1.34 that you're buying it for. So that's going to be just a really poor and dumb way to lose money. What you want to do is if you're fine buying the market price, you can just click on this. Oh, I'm sorry. Hit limit down here. Where it says price, that's the price that you're buying for. That's not the price that, or that's not the amount that you're putting in. That goes here. This is just the price that you're buying at. So if you say, I want to buy ADA at 1.347478, you just click this, and boom, it just copies it right in there. Same for sell, it does the same thing. And then from there, you can put in a large amount. And what that's going to do is it's going to say, I'm not going to buy anything unless it's at this price or below. Which is good because then it's not going to eat up all of these sell orders, essentially. So in my experience, it usually takes, it can take up to a few minutes. Just depending on the way the market moves. Sometimes it might just go completely down, but eventually it's not going to take that long for it to hit that price. And while we're on this topic, a great way to do this is if you want cryptos, but you can't have it at a certain price. Like let's say you want to buy ADA only when it hits $1, right? Are you gonna stand around your computer for 24 hours a day waiting for that candle to hit $1, or are you gonna let your computer do it for you? And it's very easy to do that. All you do is just type in the price that you want. So let's just say, for example, I'm only buying ADA when it's $1. I would type in 1 USDT. And by the way, when I say dollar, I use it interchangeably with USDT, just because it's about the same rate. And then I would put in the amount that I would want. So let's say that I want to buy 20 ADA for $1 each. And it's not going to let me because I have like less than a penny in Tether. But what that's going to do is I'll just hit buy ADA. Remember, I'm on this limit screen, not market. And just like that, if I had the funds, you would see it come up right here, and that's open orders. So all that means is it's the orders that are open at that time. And what's great about this is, all it is, it's just your computer saying, all right, as soon as ADA hits $1, I'm buying 20 of it. And as I said, I'm using USD and Tether interchangeably. And the great thing about this is there's no commitment. I really don't see a reason not to do this, because it's not like, oh, if I do this, you'll instantly buy it. I've got to think about it. No, all it's doing is you can cancel it at any time. You can even cancel it a second after you hit the order button. It's really incredible, and I don't see why more people don't do this. It's a great way to manage your risk. It's a great way to keep emotions out of your investments. And you can just let it sit back and ride and say, all right, if it hits this, my computer's buying this, and I just know that's going to happen. And if you see something that happens, let's say it comes up in the news that, ADA is officially like robbed millions of people, then you can just, cancel that order before it buys. It's not like you're locked into anything. I'm not implying that ADA or Cardano is going to rob anybody. I'm just making up an example. So it's great. Inversely, what you can do is you can sell it using limit. So if I wanted to, let's say I had 20 ADA that I bought at $1 each, and let's say I want to sell it when it hits $1.50. And I've still got the 20 ADA, right? All I do is I just hit sell ADA, and it would just go here. I know it's not great because you guys can't see it because I don't have the funds in my account, but it would just show up there, and it's the same thing. You can cancel it, you can change it. You might be thinking, that's great, but what am I supposed to do if I want to put in money, but I don't want to put all of it in at one price? Like let's say I've got $100, but I don't want to put it all in at $1. I want to space it out. I want half of it to go in at $1, a quarter of it to go in at 80 cents, and heck, I'll just leave the other $25 if ADA hits 20 cents. The great thing is you can do that. So how you do that is essentially what you do is you'd have to do the math in your head. You don't have to initially. You can use these percent things down here, which are really useful. But you just want to double check. So what these percent mean is, actually, I'll go into that later. Let's just say you've got $100. Let's make it simple. You want to put in half at $1 and half at 50 cents. So the unfortunate thing is there's not a way to put in dollar amounts. When you're buying, you just put in the ADA amount, so you kind of have to convert it. But let's say, I'll just phrase it like you want to buy 50 ADA now and 50 ADA at 50 cents. Or when I say now, I mean $1. 50 ADA at $1, you'd hit buy. And then assume you've got another 50 to buy, 0.5, buy. Then you'd have 2 orders here. And you can do this for as many orders as you want. You can do it for 1,000 orders, which, some bots do that. But it's great for just putting in percentages and just letting it ride. Again, you're not being emotional with your investments. You're just letting things ride, which is great. Now, onto the percents. I didn't want to overwhelm you with that before you knew what this actually was. What these percents mean is it's going to take however much you have. in terms of your trading account balance for that crypto that you're trading. So in this one, it would be Tether because I'm buying ADA. Um, and what you're going to do is if I've got, let's just make it simple and say I've got a 100 Tether. What that's going to do is, remember how I said before, oh, it's kind of difficult. You have to do the math yourself. What that's going to do is just, if I do 100, it's going to convert it to the exact amount of ADA it is. So I've got less than a penny of that. It means it's that amount of ADA, or something like that. If I had $100 and I wanted to put in $50 worth of ADA, I'd hit 50%, and it's done. The only thing is this can get confusing. So if I wanted to do this the first time, let's say I want 50% in ADA at $1, 50%, or no, 25% at 80 cents and 25% at 20 cents. You can start with 50%, right? And that's going to put in $50. Then if you hit 25%, it's going to give you 25% of the 50%. So it's not going to be putting in $25. It's going to be putting $12.50. So that's just something you want to be aware of. You can think of the math in your head, and that's, again, it's a disadvantage of KuCoin, in my opinion. They could make this a lot easier. I find myself having to do a lot of math in my head. I'm sure it's making me smarter in the long run, but it would be better for them to have that in their user experience, for it just to be things, have them easier with different currencies in terms of interoperability. With selling, it's the same thing. I think I've gone over this, but you can have multiple sell orders. Say you want to sell some at 1.5, some at $2, some at $3 if it hits it. It's the same deal. I won't repeat myself. And again, if you're selling a large amount, a relatively large amount, do not use this market. I'd pretty much say never use this market price, just because it's too much of a risk. What you want to do if you really want to sell at market price, you just go to limit, click this market price, and it just copies it right in there. And that's just going to allow that you really do get this price, and not some horrible price that just people have been doing, that people have been taking advantage of you, and just, because there are people that do that. What they'll do is just stay there and just take advantage of it. Anyway, I think that's enough for trading right now in terms of spot trading. Now, let's just assume that you've had your deposit. You've deposited Tether. You traded it for some ADA. But you want a margin trade now. And I wouldn't recommend this. I don't know if I should be presenting this in this video, but it is a KuCoin trading tutorial for beginners, and this is something that you should know, whether you want to do it or not. That's not my decision. I wouldn't personally recommend it, and I'll go into why later for those of you who don't know what margin trading is. I'll go into it right now. So let's say you're back here at the KuCoin home screen, and you say, you know what, I've been feeling great. I want to do some margin trading. Well, what is margin trading? Essentially what it means is margin trading, also known as leverage trading. That means, let's say you have $100 and you want to buy some ADA. Let's just assume for some purposes of simple math that one ADA is $1. If you were to put in $100 and buy ADA right now, you would get 100 ADA. And then let's say ADA went up to $2 and you sold it. Then you'd have $200. That's a nice, easy 100% profit, 2x. And it would be all fine and dandy. And if ADA, somehow happens to take a little plunge in between when you bought it $1, let's say you bought it $1, it goes down to 60 cents, and then, it shoots back up to $2, then you're fine. Here's what margin trading is, and it might sound appealing at first. You have $100, but you choose to do 3x, or let's just say 2x margin for simplicity purposes. Now, what you can do is, even though you have $100, you're trading with $200. It's essentially buying on credit. You might be thinking, this is great. I've got double the money that I had before, and you know what? I'll buy some ADA. You buy ADA at $1, $200 worth. It goes up to $2, and you sell. And it's great. And now you've got $400 when you would have originally had $200. So you've just made an extra $200 just by doing that margin trading. But if the currency dips down to 50%, and 50% meaning, because that's, half of two, you've got 50%. That's the amount where it's just yours. Because if it goes down to 50%, all the money you put in was $100. If it goes down 50%, you officially lost $100. The other money is not yours. At that point, we could go into things like margin calls, but so yeah, in general, it's just gonna auto sell for you, and that's not good, because even if it dips below that just for a short period of time, and then it goes up to $2, $5, $10, $100, you've lost that money just because of that short-term dip. So in some sense, you don't really own your crypto because you've got so much that's being lent, or rather given to you as a loan. But, relatively speaking, 2x isn't that risky. You might be thinking, well, what are the chances it goes down 50%? If I'm looking at that, I'll watch, I'll add more money, it's fine. And to that I say, whatever, it's your money. But, and it's a big but, you've got leverage, and it's not just 2x. It can go 3, 4, 5. On KuCoin, it actually goes all the way up to 10x. So, same example. Let's say you got 10x, and you put in $100. Now it magically turns to $1,000 that you can trade with. You buy $1,000 worth of ADA. Now you got 1,000 ADA. Goes up to $2. You sell at $2, and now you've got $2,000 from your $100 initial investment. Sounds great, right? At 20x. But all ADA has to do is dip 10%. That's it. Because once ADA dips 10%, you've lost $100. And $100 is your only initial capital. Once it does that, essentially, it's going to auto sell for you. And all of that's going to be lost. So you put in $100 and it's flushed down the drain if that happens, really. And this is what traps people, right? It's lots of people think this is the point where investing becomes sort of gambling. You can choose your own opinion on that. Some exchanges I've seen them go up to like 100, 125x on Binance. I think I've seen, which means if it dips less than 1%, it's just liquidated. That's the term, liquidated. You can think of it as flushing your money down the toilet. And it's really sad because lots of people, they see it as a way out. They say, oh, all I have to do is put in $100, put in 10x leverage, ADA goes up 100%, and I've made 20x. But it's not that simple. Obviously, if it were that good, everyone would be rich. But that's not the case, and it's really risky, especially in the market such as crypto, where you've got violent thrusts. We've got our good days. We got days when things can go up 10, 20%, especially when you're delving into some riskier altcoins. But inversely, we've got bearish days. We've got days where the market just plummets, and you don't want to be stuck on one of those days when you have a leverage investment. So that was a lot of explaining. How you would do this is, first of all, you need KYC, but you would go to trade and then hit margin trading. And just like that, because I don't have, sorry, I think I need to refresh this. There it goes. You would put this into your margin account. So how we transferred from main account to trading account and vice versa. There's a third account called your margin account, and you need to put your assets in there. Obviously, I don't have any assets in my margin account because I do not trade on margin. But if you were to do that, you just transfer it like we did before. These are the 4 steps. I honestly don't want to get into it because I don't recommend it, but that's all you'd do. You would find the percentage that you want to multiply it by, and you'd buy, and you'd hope that it rises and doesn't dip too much. You've got stop limits and stop markets. So all that does means instead of liquidating you completely, like let's say you're at 10x and you don't want it to be liquidated completely, you still want to have some left, you can put it at a stop limit at like 7%, or a stop price rather. So in that case, it will liquidate it, but you're still going to have $30 back, if that makes any sense. And that's how you'd margin trade. So again, I don't really recommend it, but if you're wanting to do that, that's how you'd do this page. You would go, and I can't even explain it well because I've never done it, but just trade and then margin trading, and that's how it's done. Now, here's where, let me go into this trading bot just super quickly. I don't know if I'd recommend it just because of tax purposes, and I've tried it before. It's a little random, but what it does is it's a bot that's always, not always, it's very frequently doing little trades back and forth to try and make you money. I don't know if I'd recommend it. To me, it seemed random, and in most cases, people have tested it. I guess overall, I had $25, but most cases people have tested it. You just end up better just holding, especially when you consider taxes and all that. I guess I've got a win rate here. So it was 55% wins when I did it. I did this last year with just some play money. But I just wanted to go on that quickly because it's an important part of it. Now, this is where KuCoin has one of its significant, possibly one of the best benefits that you have by using this platform. So we talked about margin, and we talked about how you're getting that money from somewhere, right? Someone's lending it to you. And obviously they're not giving it to you just to be nice. They're expecting some things in return. And that thing in return is interest. So you know how interest works. Lots of interest, if you're investing yearly, like in the stock market in general, I think it's gone up 10% yearly, annually. And that's just overall if you average it for the past 100 years. And that's risk, right? Stock markets can go down, they can have bad months, bad years. But on average, that's it. What you can do, what KuCoin allows you to do, is you can be one of these lenders. Sorry, I should have done that a bit slower. Up here, you go to Earn and Crypto Lending. And basically, these rates are really, really good. For the amount of work that you have to put in, it's insane. We might even make another separate video on this. But you can see right now, for those of you who don't know when this is recorded, we're January 5th. This is, somewhat of a bear or neutral market. Things are down. Bitcoin's below 50K, hovering around 47. And this is the APY. And this is guaranteed. Let me repeat this because it's so significant. There's no way for you to lose money in this. It's not like you put it into ADA and it can dip down, or you put it in the stock market and it can dip down. The only outcome is you make money. And it doesn't matter if the person doesn't pay it back because KuCoin will auto sell. They've even got insurance in case something bad happens. Part of that goes to insurance. But what you can do is you can put insane amounts of money in here. You can put the term at however many days you want. So like 7 days, it would mean the loan's going to be paid back maximum 7 days, 14, 28. And you can do this thing called auto lend, which is incredible. It just basically allows you to select what you want, and it will just keep on doing lending for you. So once someone pays it back, it'll grab that and just put it back into the lending market, which is really incredible. And it's just a way to kind of play the system. So again, if you think 10% a year, Bitcoin goes up 10% in a day. Yeah, but there's no risk of losing money. And I've seen it get to very high amounts. I'd say overall, this is less than average. I want to say on average, it might be 20%, but again, it really depends. But even if it's 1%, you're not going to lose money. Depending on how bearish the market is, you're never going to lose on this. And I've seen it. One day I saw it as high as 150%. That was a crazy day back in I think March or something. But anyway, this is one way. I know it's not trading, but maybe we'll go into this on more detail in a future video. Anyway, let's say you've made those profits. You got your ADA, you sold it, now you're back in Tether, and you want to withdraw it. What do? Go to the main page, assets, you just hover over this, or you can click it, that's easier. And then you can go to withdraw, similar to how we deposited. Very important thing here, you can only withdraw in crypto. You can't withdraw fiat. So if you wanted it to go to your bank account, that's not possible just through KuCoin. If you wanted that to happen, what you do is you would withdraw something like Tether or any other crypto, send that to another exchange where you can do that. Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, I believe. And then from there, you can sell it. That's one of the disadvantages of KuCoin. But if you're just wanting to withdraw crypto, this is how you do it. You'd select the crypto you have. You need to make sure it's in your main account, not your trading account or your margin account. And let's just say I use my Bitcoin. Type in your wallet address. You'd paste it in. Always check it's the same address, because once you hit that button, that's not coming back. The network, this changes depending on the amount you use. I'm just gonna leave that blank. But you just hit the one that you want. In this one, it's BTC. That's the Bitcoin network. For some things, it might seem confusing, but you just click whatever network is the crypto, essentially. Then you just type in how much you're going to withdraw in Bitcoin. So let's say that. In remarks, you just leave this blank. No, I guess they've got a minimum penny of Tether in here. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'll just leave that blank for now. And then you leave this blank, the remarks, and you would just hit confirm. After that, I don't know if it will let me. I'll try with 0. Yeah, it's not going to let me. I think maybe because I didn't have a wallet address. But it will ask you just for some verification. It will send something to your email. If you have an authenticator app, it will do that. And then it will withdraw in a few minutes. So that is all about how you trade with KuCoin. And it's for beginners. If you're a beginner, you've never used KuCoin before, this is how to trade on KuCoin for beginners. And I hope this tutorial helped you out. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we'll try and respond to as many of those as we can. And yeah, just to reiterate, KuCoin's a great platform. I use it myself. It's probably the one I use most, or second most behind Kraken, but I think it's the one I use most. They got so many coins on here, very low fees for trading, and that lending feature is great. So thank you very much for watching and tuning in to Betterment Crypto, and we'll see you in the next video.